Hey guys, and welcome to the Get Live podcast. And you're like, oh, Bish, you're back. Where were you? Yeah, I'm not going to really say where I was. I was doing some really, really interesting stuff. Some stuff with Get Live podcast Kunai, so if you want to go check that out. Whoa, that was some shameless self-advertising. But that's fine. And today, we're going to be talking about some stuff. But first, we have a special guest. Introduce yourself, guest.
Hello, I'm Swan. I was in the other Dynasty Warriors podcast. How are you? Not that you can answer me.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that now. I was like, they can't hear you, Swan. That's just...
They can hear me. That's how those other people said that I was cute.
Swan, you shouldn't really say that on the podcast. Now everyone's gonna be like, oh man, she's big-headed or whatever. If you think Swan is big-headed, please tweet me at Get Live Podcast with the hashtag.
Excuse me, you're the one who was like, oh, all these girls are fangirling over me. Oh my god.
Yeah, because it happens. I get really excited when I meet fans in real life. Like, I was on the train one day, and I was writing something for, notes for Get Live Podcast Kunai, which you guys should go check out on iTunes. No, but anyway, so I was writing something for that, and then a girl went up next to me, and she was sitting next to me on the train, and she looks at what I'm writing, and she asks, can I see what you're writing? And I'm really scared at this moment in time, because I wrote some really weird shit about an anime, and it was about Free, and there was some notes about Nagisa, so I was like, I can't show this to people. And then I was like, yeah, you can see it. And then she read it, and she was like, are you Bish? And I was like, what the fuck, how the hell do you know me?
Holy shit,
and I got really scared, because I was like, how do you know who I am? And then her friend was like, oh, we met you before. And I was like, what? How the hell did you meet me? And then she said, oh, you know, in the line in MCM when you were going to meet Troy Baker, we were talking to you. And I was like, I think I remember. I just can't quite remember. And then she told me everything, the whole conversation. I was like, oh, shit. And then I was like, okay, I met these people. I have to give them something. I have to give them something because they met me and they saw me and they recognized me. And so I made these key rings of our logo. And I had my personal one. And I took it off my keys, and I gave it to them. I said, there you go, that's a gift for you guys. And that was nice. That was a nice experience. And then everyone else on the train started looking at me like, who the fuck is this guy? But I enjoyed it. You know, it was lovely to meet people that actually know who I am, which is kind of weird. But yeah,
are you sure they weren't like creepy stalkers?
Maybe. I don't mind if they were, because they said, when I met them at MCM, they said, oh, we saw you at Eurogamer Expo. And I was like, okay, cool. So they might be following me. Which is fine.
That's not good, Bish.
It's fine, Swan. As long as there's fangirls, it's fine.
Oh my god. You are gross sometimes.
I'm not gross! Jesus! I'm not gross at all. And you think that only because of my opinions on Love Live.
Are we going to talk about Dynasty Warriors, or are we going to talk about your preference in anime girls?
Nico's best girl.
No.
Nico is best girl! Leave her alone.
Mm-mm.
Okay, who else can I pick as best girl? I can't pick anyone else. If I pick, what's her name? Nozomi, that's weird as well. Like, I can't.
But she's like everyone's best girl.
But there's a reason.
Okay, this isn't about anime.
I just want to... Who is your best girl in Love Live?
Umi.
Why?
Excuse me?
I'm saying why.
Alright, we're not talking about anime.
Swan, why you do this to me?
Why do you do this to yourself?
Why you do this to me, Swan? Actually, Umi is quite cute, but I think Nico's a lot better looking. Nico. And another thing I like about Nico, before I go on to Dynasty Warriors, is that she's tsundere. She's very tsundere, and I like that. I like tsundere.
Excuse me, have you not seen Maki?
Yeah, Maki is tsundere, but Nico's...
She's like the biggest.
Yeah, but she's not as cute as Nico. Have you seen the rest of Nico's family as well? I want to see what their dad looks like. If everyone in the family, the brother looks the same, the sisters look, the mum looks the same. What does the dad look like? That's what I want to know. I'll never find out. I hope the dad looks exactly the same. But then it'll be kind of weird because you'll think, okay, there's something weird going on here.
You can just watch a movie.
Is the dad,
I'm sure they'll have...
Is the dad going to be in the movie?
I haven't watched it, so I can't say.
Did I show you my Love Life poster? I have it somewhere.
I don't want to see it.
It's amazing. It has the whole cast there, and because they're getting a dub, so they were announcing the dub.
God.
I don't know what the dub's gonna be like. Probably shit.
Better not be like the free dub.
Don't talk about the free dub. It's alright. They have a good cast, but I feel that it's just like I want to see how they're gonna do the Australia episode in season 2. But that's because Rin is speaking English, and it's so amazingly bad. But it was great. But anyway, talk about Dynasty Warriors here.
Yeah, you didn't invite me here to talk about anime, so
that's a bit
back
rude.
on track, Bish.
All right, yeah. So Dynasty Warriors, as you know, Swan, do you still do the Dynasty Warriors blog thing?
Obviously.
Yeah, Swan still does it. I'm still a mod, I think. Am I? Yes.
You are.
Yes.
I haven't. I've been too lazy to remove you.
No, don't remove me. That's a part of me. That's a part of my life. I answer questions from time to time because I get it by email, so it tells me if some. But no one's asking questions, and I'm like, oh man.
You just haven't seen them. Sarah and I have been answering.
No,
a few.
for some reason it's not. I normally get emails that say, oh, there's a new question, and I haven't been getting any emails, which is kind of weird. I need to check that because I love.
Maybe you turned it off.
I don't think I did, but I'll check in case I did.
I mean, there is a really cute one asking who would we pick to be like our roommates, and that was very cute.
Aww. Aww.
Yeah, you missed that.
Can we get a bunch of the questions now and just answer them, please?
No.
Please.
No.
Please.
No.
Can I at least answer that one now? Who would I want as my
Yeah,
roommate?
sure. Go ahead. You can pick 5.
5.
And why?
5. Okay. I would have Zhao Yun.
Mm-hmm.
Because I heard something that he when Liu Bei was poor, and they slept in a bed together, and I thought maybe I'll have Zhao Yun sleeping in a bed with me because that sounds cute. I'll have that. That's one thing. So he's in my room. He's sharing a room with me, Zhao Yun. And then I would have... Who else would I have? I would have Guan Yinping. Because she's a badass. And who else will I have? I'll have Guan Yu. Because, his beard is amazing. But on a serious note, who else would I have? I would have... I'm not going to have Wang Yuanji. I wouldn't. I think...
Are you sure about that?
I'm completely sure. Even though I'm like Wang Yuanji's biggest fan, I wouldn't have Wang Yuanji because I want Sima Zhao there as well. I just want Sima Zhao because I know we're going to have meat buns all the time. He knows how to party. And Zhang Fei because he drinks so much. And he knows how to eat. And I think...
I feel like he would destroy everything, though.
Yeah, but that's fine. Are you talking about like a frat house situation? Because he would be like an amazing guy in a frat house, I think.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah. But if
you would have to pay for a lot of stuff.
He's gonna pay for it. Actually, no, but these people are poor, so Shu is not really a profitable thing.
I don't think he's gonna pay for anything.
But Sima Zhao, he's kind of rich, so maybe Sima Zhao. Who else? Who's like the most? I wouldn't say Dong Zhuo. Dong Zhuo would be really, really like. I wouldn't want him anywhere near my bins because I haven't imagined he would. I imagine that he will be outside just eating from our bins. That's what I think. Instead of Zhang Fei, who can I have instead of Zhang Fei? I think.
How about Liu Shan?
No.
What?
Actually, I respect Liu Shan a lot more now, but...
Excuse me?
No, Liu Shan is like, oh, I can't do anything.
He was my #1 pick.
Why?
Because he's a super chill-looking guy. I feel like he's just going...
all the time. I think he's just been
Stop
taking a
that!
lot of weed, and
Don't say that about my little baby.
Okay. I'll reject that statement. But I think someone who I'll reject the statement I said about Liu Shan. I'm taking that back.
Good.
But what I would say, Liu Shan. And the reason I say that is that I can imagine having a serious conversation with Liu Shan, and he's like kind of like the friend where you go for advice. I'm like, Liu Shan, man, I just got out of this big relationship, blah blah blah. And he's like, yeah, cool, let's talk about it. And then let's just chill. And he's chill. I think that's the guy I would go for.
I feel like I'd only pick him if he walked around in the apartment naked.
Lu Xun.
honestly.
Really?
Yes.
That's very interesting. So,
Him, Sun Tzu, and many of the other men.
I think Sun Tzu, yeah. Sun Tzu is...
As long as they're topless.
But I have
yes.
a feeling that Sun Tzu is really, like, hairy.
And I'm okay with that.
I mean down there.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know why. I just imagine that he's like really like, jungle guy. And some people are into that. And I just find that, maybe Lu Xun is like more reserved. He's not, he knows how to trim himself up. And then I think that Zhou Yu is just completely bold down there.
Is this PG-13
No,
or...
This podcast has always been explicit. I think when we
just
had
making
Chin,
sure.
I remember last time we had Chin on the podcast, it was like we had a question where it was like, okay, which characters from Dynasty Warriors would you have an orgy with? And it was like, I was listing some characters that I honestly shouldn't be listing because it makes me feel like Dong Zhuo, like you know what I mean? I felt really evil, and I shouldn't really. And Wang Yuanji was like number 1 on that list because she's...
Oh god.
But yeah, let's talk about Dynasty Warriors. So, what was the last Dynasty Warriors game you played?
That would be the new Empires that came out.
See, I've never played Empires. And why
like
I didn't...
any Empires?
No, I used to play a lot of Empires since Dynasty Warriors 5 Empires.
Oh, okay.
And then I played 6 Empires, but I didn't play 6 until many years later. And then 7 Empires, and I stopped at 7 Empires. Reason is because Tecmo Koei has been, or Koei Tecmo as it is now, they've been making the games for PS4. So I don't necessarily have the opportunity to play it. And even if it was released on PlayStation 3, I just feel bad about buying it on PlayStation 3 and then buying it again on PlayStation 4. I always kind of hate that. That's another reason I didn't buy Extreme Legends. I didn't buy Extreme Legends because I knew it was coming out on PS4 as like a complete edition. So I thought to myself, I said, okay, I might be getting a PS4 soon, so I won't buy it. But I still don't have a PS4, and it's been 2 years, so... This is me with a lot of PS4 games that are being like re-released. So that's my issue there. So I think that's one thing that I really haven't been playing Dynasty Warriors for. And I'm not going to get it on the Vita because as much as I love the PlayStation Vita, I think Dynasty Warriors isn't really a game that should be ported to the Vita. It doesn't go well. That's just my opinion.
I've never played a Vita before, so I can't comment on that. But I kind of want to get everything on PC, like everything that's available on PC at least.
Why is that?
I don't know. I just want to try it out. I've just started playing most of my games on the PC, and it's kind of fun. A mouse is sometimes easier than using like an actual controller.
So are you saying, have you tried a Dynasty Warriors games on PC?
On PC?
Yeah.
No.
Because that's what I'm thinking. How would it be weird to play it with keyboard and mouse, or would you have to plug in a controller? Because I do know they have controller support for those games.
Yeah.
But it's
I don't know. I might have to try that.
Because I used to play Dynasty Warriors Online, the kind of MMO type game, on PC. They've obviously stopped that game. It was running a Dynasty Warriors 5 engine, and it was going on until like probably Dynasty Warriors 7, and then it stopped.
Really?
Yeah, it's that game has been... It's quite a good game. Like I loved it. It's not. I don't think it's developed by Tecmo Koei, but it's pretty much Dynasty Warriors 5 and the way it works. And I think it was an interesting game. It's still going on in Japan though. In form of they sell it as a physical.
Oh yeah,
copy.
they got rid of it in the West, right?
They got rid of it in the West because I think in the West it was a PC game and it was done by a different company. In Japan it was Tecmo Koei, I believe. And then they done it as physical discs to play on the PlayStation 3. And, I'm not sure if it was their answer to, the whole Final Fantasy MMO thing. Maybe it was kind of their solution to that. But for me, it was an enjoyable game to play. Not many people were playing it. But, I liked it. And even playing it on the keyboard and mouse, that was kind of fun. Like, you get used to it after a while because it's such a simple game. It's Dynasty Warriors 5 at the end of the day. It's not really something as advanced as Dynasty Warriors 8 or Dynasty Warriors 7. That's where my kind of issues come in with the PC version. And if anyone has played the PC version, tell me. I want to know how it's like. Have you played it on PC?
Yeah, I want to know too.
Yeah, because it would be interesting to see that do people actually play it on a keyboard and mouse? Or do people play it with a controller on PC? Because you know, obviously PC has its advantages, you know, with obviously it depends on how boss your PC is, but you know, potentially you can get better graphics and all of that kind of stuff, and mods. I'm not sure if Dynasty Warriors even has mods.
Oh yeah, I actually saw a few in the tags on Tumblr. They're, most of the mods are just like changing hair colors or giving them different outfits, but they're cool.
That's the thing, like giving them different outfits and messing with character models and stuff like that. That's great, and I like that, and I like how Tecmo is allowing that. But at the same time, it's gonna get to a point where people are gonna do nude mods, like they've been doing it with other Tecmo games like DOA and stuff like that. So I think it's about time. People are gonna do it. It's gonna happen.
I mean, have you been through the tags lately?
On Tumblr, no.
Yeah.
But I can imagine that it has stuff like that.
Yeah, they have a few stuff in the tags that are not safe for work.
Yeah, but you know, that's another thing. It's like there's a lot of fan servicey elements in Dynasty Warriors, even since the beginning. It's
definitely.
There was, and I think that's not something to shy about. And that's another thing. Like when people see games from Asia or specifically from Japan, they're like, "Oh man, tits!" People get afraid. I don't understand why. Like there's so many games like that. Another thing, I said tits, and it brings me back to Lian Shi. I want to know how she's doing. Does she look the same? Because I haven't played, you know, the new game where she has the new weapons. I think she has new weapons, doesn't she? She has like a...
She does. Does she look the same?
Does she look the same? Like, or is her Musos the same? Because I haven't really played Empires or Extreme Legends. And I know there was a lot of weapon changes, which I'm not a big fan of, but...
I'll be honest, I haven't played as her, because I just don't want to. If I'm playing Empires, I'm going to play as one of my own. Someone that I created.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah,
Fair
that's
enough.
what Empires is about, is it not?
It is, and I think that's...
basically an ultimate game.
Kind of, yeah, you do have a point there. But at the same time, Empires is kind of, at least from what I realized, in the West is very popular compared to the other Dynasty Warriors games. Because I remember when Dynasty Warriors 7 Empires came out, and this was when the demo was out. And in the newspapers, you know those free... Well, you wouldn't know this because you don't live in London. But if you live in London, there's a lot of free newspapers that they give you to read on the train. And there was in the gaming section, there was this thing where they hyped Dynasty Warriors 7 Empires, the demo. And they were like, yeah, buy the game now. And it's like... And they didn't even talk about the whole Japanese... not Japanese history, sorry, I'm getting confused with Samurai Warriors. They didn't even focus the whole Romance of the Three Kingdoms thing. They were like, you can make your own characters. And you can
I think it's
China.
the customization part that really brings in people to play Empires.
And that's great because then it brings people into the storyline and it's like, oh, this was a cool game. I want to try 8 and I want to try 8 Extreme Legends. And it gets people there for a long time. I know people that, you know, play Dynasty Warriors 4 Empires and then they stayed on. Obviously, I started off Dynasty Warriors 2 OG. I only say that because a lot of people kind of get confused with Dynasty Warriors 2 and they think, oh, that's the second game. But at the same time, it's the first game. Like, that's how I feel it.
I mean, that's how Japan sees it.
That's how Japan sees it because, you know...
Because the first game was really, really different.
The first game was a fighting game. It was similar to Soul Calibur or something like that. It's a fighting game with weapons. And, you know, over here, because they didn't... It's technically a new IP. That's what it was. But with branding and stuff... You have to kind of release it as the second game. So people know. So people that love the first game can play the second game. That was what it was. And it was a really big deal over there. And, you know, in the UK and stuff. And fun fact, I met someone who actually worked on Dynasty Warriors 2 in the UK.
Oh, and nice.
Yeah, it was kind of random. His name is Hideki. I've had him on the podcast before. He owns like a manga shop in the UK. And I met him and I was talking about Dynasty Warriors. We obviously call it Dynasty Warriors in the UK, so I don't call it that because I used to see the adverts and they were like Dynasty Warriors 2 out now, and I was like, yeah. But yeah, so he was talking about Dynasty Warriors and stuff, and we were just having conversation, and he was like, yeah, I worked on that game, and I was like, what? How the hell? And he was like, yeah, I worked on localization and I worked on the whole graphics design thing and making the adverts and all that stuff. It was very interesting to talk to him. And a couple of days later, I got like a poster in the post, and it was a Dynasty Warriors 2 poster from, you know, when it was first released, and I was like, oh my god, that's freaking amazing, and I was really happy about that. because Dynasty Warriors 2 to this day is still my favorite game.
Really?
Yeah, mainly because it's shit. I know it's shit, but there's so much nostalgia. I was 6 years old when I played that game, and it was like my first game, and I was just like, oh my! I had other games, but this was like the first game I kind of connected with, and I was like, this is cool, this is fun, and there was that kind of educational bit. You always in Dynasty Warriors. I'm not sure if they still continue this, but they have this kind of encyclopedia within the game.
They do. They still have that,
and that's great because then you can teach people about it. And yeah, it's not really in-depth information. Some of it is. But you learn more, and you're like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I want to know more about Cao Cao, or I want to know more about Sun Jian. It's like, it kind of gets you involved. And that's, I think...
It does. I mean, that it could be a starting point to get into, like, Chinese history. And that's really cool. It's a really interesting topic, and there's a lot to know about it. There's a lot of books written about it, definitely. And if you look on Tumblr, there are tons of blogs that talk about what happened in the games, but what happened in real life,
And that's what I like, is just comparing the game to real life, and it's like, oh, okay, so Liu Bei and stuff, and he threw his kid on the ground and stuff, and that's not really mentioned in the game. Do you know what I mean?
No, it's not.
But, I've seen I remember this comic on Tumblr, and it was like, I felt really bad laughing at it, but it was like, oh, he brings him his son, and he just throws the kid on the ground, and then it goes into the future. It's just Zhuge Liang.
I think I've seen that.
And Zhuge Liang is just taking care of him like a babysitter, and then he's just Liu Shan with like not building blocks, but those ones with the alphabet on them. And I was like, oh man, whoever did this, it's hilarious, but at the same time, it's like it made me feel really bad inside. But
it's fun to see things like that. I really like seeing the fan works that you see on Tumblr.
Yeah, of course.
Some of them are really interesting. Some of them are really cute.
So, yeah, that's true. Some of them are really cute. But I think what I love seeing even more than that is that when you go to a big convention and you see Dynasty Warriors cosplayers, that always amazes me. Like, I was at London Comic Con, and that's like the biggest anime and gaming and whatever event there is, basically. And the amount of people, I saw a guy, Guan Yu, and I was like, oh, you're awesome, you're Guan Yu. And we spent talking like for ages, maybe an hour, just talking about Dynasty Warriors. And then I saw like a Wang Yuanji, and I was like, oh my god, this is Wang Yuanji in real life. She looked like exactly like Wang Yuanji, and the Sima Zhao looked even better. Like I was like,
okay,
oh.
I'm hoping you weren't being a total creep to them.
No, I wasn't. No.
Okay.
I was just like, oh, do you mind if I take a picture? And they're like, yeah, cool. And then they asked, do you like Dynasty Warriors? I was like, yeah. And I told them what I like and blah blah blah. And we spoke about their cosplay and stuff, and that stuff takes ages. Like they took months and months and maybe more than half a year, and it was perfect, like exactly perfect to what the game was showing. And they looked perfect as well. Well, not perfect, but they looked like the characters themselves. It was like I was talking to Wang Yuanji and Sima Zhao. I have to admit, the Sima Zhao cosplayer was a lot better because he wasn't wearing a wig. That was actually his hair.
Wow, really?
Yeah. And I was like, can I touch your hair? It was kind of creepy, but he let me, and I was like, it was kind of cool. It was really fun, especially when cosplayers take it that extra mile.
It's really cool. Yeah, definitely.
I haven't seen this one, Swan. I haven't seen this.
Oh, I just sent Fish a link to something on Tumblr where Liu Bei is throwing down Liu Shan.
And it's so America as well. It's because American football. America. Another thing I like about Dynasty Warriors is that they kind of take characters' stories to another level. Although I feel that within the more recent games, that's been taken away to some extent. Like, for instance, Dynasty Warriors 8. I know you've played that game. Like Guan Yingping and the whole Guan family were kind of stripped down. Like they only had like maybe 1 or 2 battles, and it was like
they were.
It was kind of
Definitely.
disappointing, and I'm not sure if they had that stuff in Extreme Legends, which they probably do, because that's what they do. They put more content in Extreme Legends so people can learn the stories. Like for me,
but it's like one story maybe that's just for those characters. Like I know a few characters only had one battle where the player could control them. And then I actually we got a message about one of these about something like that actually. They were like, Let me just find it. Hold on. They were just saying how, like, they were saying, don't you just hate it when your main is playable for, like, 2 stages? And honestly, it's true. Look at Peng Tong. He only got one and
stage.
he died.
Yeah, that's true.
He died.
The thing is with that was, you know, you got loads of characters in this game now. I think maybe 70 or more than 70 playable characters. I remember back in the day, Dynasty Warriors boasted the fact that, yes, we have 30 playable characters, and that was a big deal. You've pretty much doubled it in the space of 10 years. So giving characters enough playtime is very difficult to do.
It is.
But I feel that, you know, if people want to know more storyline on Liu Bei and blah, blah, blah and all that, they should kind of focus on the new characters in the game and give them more of a story, because that's the only way I think Dynasty Warriors is going to go forward. Because me playing the same... I know I'm going to be playing the same battles again and again and again. I'm always going to be playing Battle of Chirby and all of that. But at the same time, I want to know more about these new characters. Like, this is another thing. What Dynasty Warriors 7 did really well was it kept all of that, all the old story, and it had its Gene story mode. That was never seen before, you know? It was a new thing, and people kind of got to experience Sima Zhao and the Suma family, and they got to experience Sima Yi in another way as well. And that's another thing. I'm kind of still upset about the passing of Sima Yi's voice actor in Japanese. It was kind of...
yeah.
That's another thing. Every time we talk about Dynasty Warriors on the podcast, I have to mention him because, you know, he's kind of awesome. And I loved his Japanese voice, and I think he was like my favorite character to play as in Japanese because, you know, that laugh is just amazing.
It was very spot on. It was good.
And I'm not sure what they're going to do. Because this is another thing. What are they going to do with that? Are they going to keep his laugh and then have someone else do the voice acting? Or how's that going to work?
I mean, they did get a new voice actor, didn't they?
I'm guessing they did for story-based stuff. But,
I heard they got the voice actor who does Sima Shi.
They got the same guy. What?
Yeah, they got the same person to do Sima Yi's voice in the Japanese version, I think.
That's the thing. I'm hoping they kind of keep in at least the laugh. Because, you know, in the games, they kind of recycle, oh, this is the Muso thing they say, or whatever. They kind of recycle that stuff, and then they've done that since Dynasty Warriors 7. If you notice Dynasty Warriors 7's audio to Dynasty Warriors 8, it's the same.
I'm sure they'll do it
but
the future games.
I hope they actually at least keep his laugh in there, because that laugh is iconic, and that's been there since the first Dynasty Warriors game, since Dynasty Warriors 2. So he's been there from the beginning, and that, to me, that's like a big deal. And if they kind of, I'm not pushing away the new voice actors and stuff, but if they try and do the laugh and it's not quite as good, I feel that it's kind of a shame, really. I can't handle that.
I mean, you have to give them a chance.
Yeah, I'm going to give them a chance, but everyone's going to get replaced. For his memory, they should at least keep that laugh in. You know, at least the Muso laugh.
I'm sure they will. It's an iconic laugh for all the fans of the game.
And another thing is when we get voice actors on and stuff like that, we actually get them to do the laugh, which is obviously you might have heard Suma. I was going to say Suma Zhao's. I mean KG's. You might have heard KG's or Erin's laugh. I think Erin did it a lot better than KG. Sorry if you guys are listening, but I think I said it before. But it was I want to see like I want to try and get like Carl Hebert on the podcast and kind of talk to him about, you know, Suma Yi and stuff, because he was Suma Yi since Dynasty Warriors 6, I think.
Damn.
Yeah, so he's been there quite a long time. Another thing is I recently got to meet, every time I go to these expos, I see a lot of Dynasty Warriors voice actors. So I recently met Lex Lang, who's the voice of, he used to be the voice of Sima Yi, but he's also the voice of Zhuge Liang from the beginning. So he's kind of cool. He signs.
Is his voice different in real life?
He is very different. He's really like energetic, and he's not like, oh, you know, like Zhuge Liang is like really. He's more outspoken, and he's a lovely guy, and he's really energetic. And I told him, oh, can you just sign this for me? And he was, and the thing is, at these expos now, it used to be free. You had to pay money, and his line was empty. So I went up to him and I was like, dude, I don't have the money. And he was like, don't tell anyone, but I'm going to sign this for you because you're a cool guy. And I was like, oh my god! I was fangirling so much, and I loved it, because especially when voice actors and voice actresses are really cool like that. Like, I remember when I met Yuri voice of Sunsa. And I also met, guess who
Oh
I
my
met
God.
as well? I met
You met the. I think I know.
Tara Platt, voice of Angie. Oh my God!
Mm-hmm.
I really fangirled at that moment, and I was like,
I think you told me about that.
yeah, I'm gonna tell this to everyone.
I told you
because
to stop.
Not many people knew. And what happened was, no one. She was signing for stuff, and no one was really going to her. They were sitting next to each other. Everyone was like, Yuri, sign this for me because you're this character in Naruto, or you were this character in Persona. And then Tara is just there, just doing nothing. And I'm like, and I skipped Yuri. To be honest, I was like, you know what? Yuri's cool, but you're better. And can you sign this for me?
God.
And she did. And she was like, you know what? You're awesome. You're the first kind of person that sent that to me. And then Yuri looked at me, and then he was like, what did he say? And I was like, what? No, I didn't mean it like that. It was very interesting. And then I came back again. And then, because I had another copy of a game. I had, it's with me now. It's the Wii U version of Warriors Orochi. And I had another copy, because for some reason Chin gave me two. So I got that one signed. And then I went to Yuri and Tara, and the person at the line told me, no, you can't bring two things. And then I gave them the things. And then Yuri was like, no, don't worry about her. I'll just sign it. And then Tara, what happened with Tara was that she took both of them and she hid them underneath each other. And she was like, I can only see one here. And she signed both of them. And I was like, you're amazing. You're amazing. And then after that, I came back again. And I was like, I'm sorry. I'm annoying you. I'm in this line too many times today. And they were like, you know what? Because you've been in this line for so many times, let's have a picture with you. And I was like, oh my God. And I took a picture with him. And Yuri hugged me. I felt like, oh my God, that was like one of the best hugs I've had. Yuri Lowenthal hugged me. And I don't know. I'm sounding really creepy now, but it was really nice to see like voice actors actually being human beings, because you don't imagine them as such. You think, oh yeah, this is my favorite character, and they should be like this character, but they're really cool. I also met Zhang Liao as well. That was awesome.
You told me.
Yeah, no, he was cool because everyone was in the line for Ezio because he's the voice of Ezio.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, just sign this, and he was like, Zhang Liao, and I was like, yeah. I'm kind of upset that they changed Zhang Liao's voice as well.
I am too. When I heard the new one, I was like, this doesn't sound right. What happened to the old one?
I think he had to record.
He sounds like
else.
Liu Bei.
He is Liu Bei's voice actor.
I know, and I'm like, what?
It was kind of awkward. And the thing is, I think the reason they done that was because the voice actor for Zhang Liao had some other things to do, because he was in a lot of other games.
Yeah.
And he's the voice of Sonic as well, so you have to prioritize what is going to get you more money or whatever, really, because this is a job at the end of the day. And I hope he comes back.
I hope so
as well.
The next one, maybe.
That's another thing. The next Dynasty Warriors is probably going to be. It's probably Dynasty Warriors 9, I'm guessing. But
that's what I think.
That's
too.
It has to be. They're not going to go back from 8. But I hope that they do something with Dynasty Warriors. Like they change it up in a way, and I feel that Dynasty Warriors is becoming kind of like. I don't want to say it sounds very crude when I say this, and I'm going to anger a lot of people when I say this, but Dynasty Warriors is becoming the Japanese Call of Duty, essentially. And I don't mean in terms of gameplay. I mean in terms of there's a new Dynasty Warriors pretty much every year.
Every year,
and
yeah.
I remember back in the day I had to wait 2 or 3 years to get a Dynasty Warriors game, and I think they need to kind of, they know that's easy cash money, that's easy money. But at the same time, they need to take more risks with Dynasty Warriors, and I think
they really do. Although I love the games and I love the recent ones, I think they do need to have a change.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's like from Dynasty Warriors 6 to Dynasty Warriors 7, you can tell. Like Dynasty Warriors 6 was a shitty game. Sorry, but it was something, and they took some stuff from Dynasty Warriors 6. Yeah, they tried doing something new. They went for it, but then they learned from their mistakes and made Dynasty Warriors 7 amazing.
They really did. I was surprised because after I played 6, I was like, should I be excited about number 7?
Yeah, even I was the same way. And then they brought in some mechanics like climbing ladders and swimming and climbing mountains and stuff. And they brought those mechanics in, and that was lovely.
And they brought back the nicer costumes.
Yes. That's another thing. They didn't go too crazy with it, and they dropped some things, and then they kind of brought in all the good stuff from 6 and all the good stuff from previous games and brought it in to make 7, which I loved about 7. And to this day, I think 7 is kind of better than 8, because 8 kind of seems like a big DLC for me. That's what it feels like. Because characters...
I don't know. I like 8 better, only because 7 didn't... Like, 7, you were restricted to just a few same characters in every stage for every kingdom, but with 8, they mixed it up a lot more. And I like that. Like, I didn't have to play as Sun Quan, like, 50 billion times, and I didn't start to hate him in 8.
Yeah, but that's the thing with Dynasty Warriors 8. I think Dynasty Warriors 8 did it better in its story mode. But I think that as an overall game, in comparison, because, the game before 7 was shit. So it was a big leap. And I feel that the leap between 7 and 8 wasn't really big enough for me to be like, oh man, 8 is amazing. It was just like, oh, okay, 8 is just minor improvements. 8 seems like an update as opposed to a new game for me, in my honest opinion. One thing I liked about 8 was, the ambition mode and all of that. That was cool. But then once you finished it, there's nothing else to do in the game once you finish that. And I feel that they learned a lot from previous games. 8 brought in a lot of stuff that Omega Force were working on. The whole, that targeting system where there's like a red arrow on the screen that tells you where your enemy is when you're fighting them, and it's a 3D arrow. That was taken from the Gundam games, Shin Gundam Muso. That was taken from there. And the whole leveling up system, the 100 levels or whatever, that was taken from Warriors Orochi, as we know. So there's elements from each kind of game that's kind of been brought in, and they've been learning, and that's interesting to see that. But at the same time, it's like, I want something more. I don't want new characters to buy a new game. I want new features. I want this and that. And Dynasty Warriors 8.
So what are you looking for?
I'm looking for more stuff to do within the game. Dynasty Warriors is a game that you can repeat again and again, but I'm free all day now, and I'm not playing games like Dynasty Warriors. I'm playing games like Samurai Warriors, which is something I would never have touched before. Because Samurai Warriors offers me a lot more. I don't know why that is. Tecmo Koei seems like they're not focusing more on games like that, but they're taking more risks with Samurai Warriors. Samurai Warriors has a system, like a hyper attack system, where how when you're pressing square, 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 triangle, stuff like that hyper attack system is the same, but in the opposite way around. So you still got your square, square, triangle attacks, but then you got triangle, 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 square. So then it pretty much doubles the amount of moveset.
Sorry, I don't play Samurai Warriors, so...
No, for me, this was kind of...
This is very interesting.
For me, Samurai Warriors 4 was my first Samurai Warriors game, so when I played it, it was very refreshing, because it's like, oh, you have double the movesets, and that's a new system. And I think if they brought that into Dynasty Warriors, oh my god, that would be crazy. And I think that would be kind of badass. And people are like, oh, how can they implement that with 2 weapons? And I think that should only be attributed to the EX weapon. Like, if you're going to have that double moveset, that should, for balancing reasons, you should have it for the EX weapon only. And it's great. And, they've even taken some things from Dynasty Warriors, like, the whole Musos, where it's not just hold down anymore. It's just you tap it once and it does it. But I find that Dynasty Warriors needs a lot more innovation to survive. It's obviously going to survive. It's obviously going to make a lot of money. But I mean, like, if you compare it to Call of Duty, I used to play Call of Duty. I don't play it now anymore because it's the same. It's the same bullshit every year. I don't want Dynasty Warriors to become that. And I find that if you look at on the PlayStation Store about Dynasty Warriors and all that, and then you see the DLC, they have DLC that is worth more than the actual game.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. I was looking through all the DLC yesterday, and I was like, I wasn't sure if I wanted to spend that kind of money. Yeah, so I didn't.
That's the thing.
Some of them are a bit ridiculous.
It is, and I think that if they said to me, "Oh, you can pay maybe £30 on a season pass," I would be inclined to pay that money for a season pass, because the deal, like, you can buy a DLC pack that's £30, and the game now, like, we all know this. Dynasty Warriors games and Warriors games in general, they're like maybe $60 upon release. And then a couple of months later, they drop down in half. because no one plays them, and they're brand new as well. So that's the thing. So when DLC is worth more than the actual game, and it's not actually adding to the game, like it's just costumes, I find that's ridiculous.
It's a bit.
Like
It's a bit ridiculous.
Spend more time on spending. They can spend more time on actual story development and story DLC as well. I think that's another thing. Instead of actually, hey, this is costumes that you had in the previous game many years ago. Like, I don't find the need to constantly
like the
buy...
old costumes. I don't think they should be priced the way they are now.
Me neither. I think the same
It's a
way.
little
Like,
too high.
How much is it in America when they release the old costumes for Dynasty Warriors 8?
I think it really depends on the pack. I know a few of them are like $3, which are okay in my opinion. But there are a few others that are a little more, and it's just like their costumes. They can be $2. It's fine, but $6 for something like that, I don't think I'd want to pay that much.
They're original costumes as well. Like, it's fair enough. It's nice to have fun original costumes, but at the same time, it's like I want to see new weapons. I want to see new stuff in the game, as opposed to, hey, here's a new costume. Because for me, when I'm playing Dynasty Warriors, I'm only going to use one costume. Like for Zhao Yun, that costume is the Romance of the Three Kingdoms costume, because that's fucking badass. For Zhou Yu, that's obviously his Dynasty Warriors 5 costume, because once again, Zhou Yu had some really bad costume issues in Dynasty Warriors 6 and Dynasty Warriors 7.
And 7.
And 7, yeah. And then 8, they kind of fixed it, and I was like, at least he has the hair. At least he has the hair back.
He was very good looking in 8. I loved his entire look in 8.
But something It
was a step up from the vampire look.
Something I'm still kind of disappointed about is his weapon.
The sword.
They didn't bring that back, and they're bringing back everyone's old weapons. It's like, oh, Yu Ying. That's another thing. Why the hell did Yu Ying have... They brought back her scythe thingy from Dynasty Warriors 4, and then they were like, in Empires, I think they gave her the bow, the bladed bow.
They gave her the scythe, and then they took it away to give her the bow, which was...
I'm
a little mixed on that, because I love the scythe. It was one of my favorite weapons.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan of the bow, but...
The thing is, the bow was taken from a game that really no one liked. Like, it was from Dynasty Warriors 6. I understand that, yes, you're adding new weapons, but when you have a character that her Musos all work with this, because, her Musos were with the staff before, and with the scythe, they still work.
It still works.
You can use the same animations, but now they have to spend more time changing the Muso the weapons for the Musos and all of that, and it's just like, why the hell would you do that? You could just include that as a DLC, just standard DLC weapon if people wanted to choose, and yes, you can still kind of use her old weapon, but it's like, I'm not going to have the EX, I'm not going to have the Musos with that old weapon, I'm going to have it with this stupid bow.
You never know.
That.
They could give her back the scythe in the next game. Maybe they were testing it out.
I think what Tecmo Koei and what they do with weapons, when they release DLC weapons, they are the weapons that are going to be for the new characters in the new game. For instance, Juran, his weapon was a DLC weapon, I think, for Dynasty Warriors... Shit, I forgot which Dynasty... It was a Dynasty Warriors 8 DLC weapon. It was the flame bow.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that weapon.
And that was given to him as his debut weapon. And I feel that they should really focus on not really weapon changes to characters, because I feel that the characters have been there for a while, that people have gotten used to their weapons. For instance, Wang Yi, what is up with her new weapon? I'm not a big fan of that.
I mean, I've tried out that weapon. I don't really mind. I prefer her old weapon, but this one isn't bad. It's not like the bow blade.
True, but at the same time, I feel that you're changing weapons so much that don't do that. Just release them as DLC, fair enough, and then focus them on new characters. And I bet you I'm going to see a new character in Dynasty Warriors 9 that's their primary weapon is the scythe. And that Yu Ying will stay with the bow. And Zhou Yu will still have that stupid staff. They should give that staff to someone else and actually give him the sword. Because that sword is my childhood right there. And even if I'm
Well,
playing
you
as...
never know. They could give it back to him in 9.
I bet you, Tecmo will be listening to this and they're like, Bish, because you want that staff to be gone, you're going to have double staffs. Like, Zhou Yu will have double staffs or something dumb like that, just to annoy me. I feel that they're not going to do that, in my honest opinion, unless people want it. And I feel that if you guys want these stuff to happen, talk to Tecmo Koei. Talk to them on Twitter. It's at Koei Tecmo Europe, I think. So go talk to them there, because they're going to listen. I'm not sure the Americans will.
I think you need to stay positive.
The thing is, it's very difficult to stay positive when the game is going to be this kind of cash cow.
I know, but just try to stay positive.
I'll try my best. One.
Don't be like some of the people on Tumblr.
I think that's where I'm going to. I'm going to be that Tumblr person that just bitches about everything in a couple of years' time.
There's one person who writes like a series of like rants to the company. I believe he started off complaining about the localization, and he complained about how they keep saying that we're getting a dub, but then taking it away last minute.
That's the thing with the whole. I think that people aren't. You're not entitled to a dub. People listening, especially that guy, I don't want to cause problems with him, but I'm like, after you telling me now, no one's entitled to a dub, and I feel that if you want the game, fuck the dub. Like, I think that yes, it's great, it's nice to have a dub. It's a really high quality dub compared to other games out there, but at the same time, I would rather have the game with no dub than have no game at all, because that's probably where it's going to. This stuff is expensive. And it has a large cast. So it's going to get to a point where you're going to get as many, maybe 120 characters, possibly. You can't pay for that much voice acting. It doesn't seem plausible, especially with the amount of money they have to spend and how much money they make overseas. Because it might even get to a point where Tecmo Koei are like, you know what, we're not even bringing this overseas. You have to buy it imported. And I don't want it to get to that point, so I feel that, you know, if you guys just stick with the subs, because it's better than having no game. And I feel that other games are not going to have. They're not going to have the future games won't have the dub. I think, in my honest opinion, that's just me. What do you think?
Like, I feel that people are not entitled to a dub. I mean, it'd be nice to get dubs for all the games. But, you know, the fact that we are getting the games is great. We could end up not getting games from Japan. Like, I am a big fan of this one Otome game, but some of the games that they have for that specific series don't come to the US, and I can't play them. So I think we're very lucky to have all the Dynasty Warriors game come to the States, even if they're not completely dubbed. And it's great. I mean, I don't want to say that we should feel lucky because they're giving us games, but sometimes you just gotta, you know, count your blessings.
I think so as well. Especially localization teams, they work extremely hard.
Exactly.
Especially to make the stories make sense in English.
Exactly.
Because there's a lot of jokes that don't necessarily translate well, so then they have to rewrite that in English, and it's just, you don't notice it, but a lot of work goes into making these games happen. So people need to...
I mean, I remember, I believe it was Empires, where Chin made a tweet saying that yes, we are getting a dub, but then last minute he put up another tweet saying no, we're not getting a dub. And I remember going on Tumblr, going through the tag, and I did see a lot of posts that were cursing him out, which really isn't fair to him because he tried his best. I'm sure everyone there tried their best, and no one knows the full story, so I don't see why people take it out on the employees. Because
they're the only people they can get in contact with. Like, people see...
But it's rude.
But that's how it is with every company. Like, obviously, I would say Tecmo Koei's fan base are a lot harsher than other companies, I would say. Because, I don't know how to say this, it's because someone like Chin works really hard at his job, and obviously their team is amazing. So people see that and they're like, they listen. So let me bitch about everything to them and let me give them my frustrations, which is fair enough. You're entitled to give your frustrations, but don't do it in a way that kind of is
venting
abusive.
your frustrations is different from full out cursing out someone who had nothing to do with it, or they had no control over the situation.
But that's what I'm saying.
And I think I remember Chin making a post telling people not to do that to him. And I felt horrible just watching him on Twitter.
But
I know a few people on Tumblr were writing posts to support him.
With community managers, that's something they have to deal with. That's obviously part of their job. I think.
Yeah, definitely.
I think he doesn't deserve it. I don't think anyone does. But people don't necessarily understand. They see Chin as this person. They think, the way I see it is that people think Chin is Tecmo Koei. Because he's the only one that communicates about that kind of stuff. You see what I mean? Even Americans, they don't go to Tecmo Koei America. They go to Chin because they're like, oh, this guy answers our queries. This guy tells us.
In America, it's very quiet. You don't really...
It is, and they are working on that.
Some of the tweets are about games that already came out.
Mm.
And it's like hyping you up for games that came out months ago, and it's kind of dumb. No offense to whoever's listening to this.
I think they got
the American company needs to step up their game.
They got a new community manager recently, so I think they are going to step up their game, and it's the load that is on Koei Tecmo's Europe's Twitter feed and whatever is going to be split across, hopefully Koei America, because they, from what I can see, Koei America tends to focus on Tecmo games. From what I can see, this is DOA and stuff, and there's a new tournament in DOA going on, and blah, blah, blah. Because that's what it is. That's how I feel it is, and that's what they're talking about. And
yeah.
Because those games are a lot popular. Because, you
have a lot more popular
you have
in the
EVO
States.
going on in America at the moment. So that stuff gets a lot of money, and it kind of gets a lot more advertising. Like, pretty much, the way I see it, EVO and stuff like that, that's free advertising, because people are playing tournaments of your game and whatnot, and they're going to be using the costumes and all that, and it's going to get people hyped. And it's very difficult to hype a game like Dynasty Warriors and Japanese games, because people are like, oh man, look at Yan Shi. People might get put off by a character like Yan Shi, or they might get put off by, what was that character who looks really creepy? I forgot his name.
Creepy?
Yeah, that one character, he looks Guo Hai. They might look at Guo Hai and they're like, oh man, look at Guo Hai. He looks like, I don't want to play that game. This guy's coughing everywhere. People are like that. I'll be honest with you. Or people.
On Twitter, that I follow a few people who are huge fans of him.
No, I'm not making fun of Guo Hai. I'm just saying that's how people think.
I know. It's just. Ow. Yeah.
And Guo Hai is kind of cool. I have to admit, I like his weapon, and he's funny. But
I like him, and I like to play as him. The only complaint I have is that he's kind of slow after his Musou.
But that's because he's giving it all he's got.
I know.
And he even falls onto the floor.
He's trying his best.
I think what I like about Guo Hai is that his story and his kind of relationship with Sumai is very interesting. He's kind of, I would say, in debt. He's kind of in debt to Sumai in a way, and which I like. And the same with Xiahou Yuan. He's like a big fan of him. He's like #1 fangirl. And I think you find out a lot in Dynasty Warriors 7 about him. Obviously, in Dynasty Warriors 8, you kind of learn about the whole Xiahou Yuan thing, and it's like, oh man, I felt kind of sad. And there were moments in the game, in every Dynasty Warriors game, that actually does make me cry. In Dynasty Warriors 7, it was when Jian Wei died.
I think for me, it's always when... In Dynasty Warriors 7, it was when Liu Bei went crazy about Guan Yu and Zhang Fei. For 8, I think it was his death. A lot of my favorite moments are like Shu moments, sorry.
No, that's fine. To be honest, I've been more accepting of Shu recently, because I'm like, oh man, Zhou Yun. I love Zhou Yun so much now. It's like I kind of, the love for these characters stemmed from a little game called Warriors Orochi 3. Because that game has I don't know how the hell Warriors Orochi 3 has the time to kind of focus on character relationships. Because that game is pretty much a game made for shipping, that's what I think. And it kind of focuses on it a lot. So when you get to play Dynasty Warriors, you actually see their personalities from Warriors Orochi, and you're like, oh man, that's kind of cool. Especially with Zhou Yun, he's like a very compassionate guy, and he's very calm. And You know, he went after Lucian, and he helped him, and even towards his death, he was still there. He's kind of old. Another thing is, he's an old character, yet they don't show him age at all.
I kind of want to see character aging.
That's the thing. He's pretty much since Huang Gai's been there. I think he's been there, and Huang Gai looks old. Zhou Yun, even towards the end, like the whole Jean storyline, he's still young, and I'm like, that's not how it's supposed to be.
He looks like someone from Young Shu.
That's what he is, though, and that's the thing. It's kind of upsetting.
It's like, kind of weird, but honestly, I would love to see character aging. It would be really awesome.
And I think the way they could do that is very simple. You can just do it as a form of costume. You see what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And then obviously change
I guess each stage they could change. Every couple stages they could change the costume to show that they're growing older, which would be really cool. Like, imagine seeing young Shu become like young to old.
That would be very interesting. Obviously, you can't do it with all the characters, but I feel that characters like, because not all of them survive, but characters like Zhou Yun or something like that. Or not Zhou Yun. I just made up a name. Zhao Yun. Zhou Yun. I'm getting confused between Zhou Yu and Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun, I think he should age, because I've seen the costume. You know, the Romance of the Three Kingdoms costume. It's obviously based off that game, and I was hoping that he would have a alternate costume to that as well, where he was old and he had his beard, because the artwork for Romance of the Three Kingdoms actually shows him old and young as well. So that game has that. It's not like Tecmo Koei can't do it. They can. Obviously, it's just a little bit more work in terms of costumes, but they make so many costumes anyway. Like, instead of doing that schoolgirl costume, you might as well
ones.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, instead of doing that schoolgirl costume, you could do...
Oh, but come on. Everyone loves a good high school AU.
I'm alright with it, but they done it in Dynasty Warriors 7, fair enough. And then they just recycled... they made slight adjustments and then recycled the costumes. And I'm like, I have to pay for this again? That's what disappointed me.
But come on. They're catering to the fans. Everyone wants a high school AU. I would prefer a college AU. But, everyone wants those alternate universe costumes so that they can write stories, create fan art, create headcanons.
I think
that's what makes the community bigger, and it makes it thrive.
Fair enough, but I think that Dynasty Warriors, in terms of its costumes, I would prefer to have crossover costumes from other games. Like, I want to see Zhao Yun wearing Yukimura's costume from Samurai Warriors. I think that would be kind of cool, and stuff like that. And it's simple to do. Obviously, they've done it in Warriors Orochi, and I'm talking about Warriors Orochi because, for me, Warriors Orochi was a game that I enjoyed more than Dynasty Warriors 8. I know that sounds really dumb, but that's because that game had more character development, and you had more than 130 characters. So a game that had that much character development and that much kind of stuff in the game was kind of really interesting to me. And I think it kind of leads me on to another point where I think that Dynasty Warriors should get a lot more content in the game, and I think that Koei should they should stop splitting the games into 3 releases.
And just do one full release.
And either do one full release or do it as 2 releases. As in, have your Empires as separate release, and then have Extreme Legends and the original game in one release. Because they've done it before.
What they did for the Complete Edition one.
Yeah, I think they should do that from now on, because I like that. That's why I would be more inclined to spend the same amount of money on the Complete Edition compared to the normal game. Because it is the same price. That's an awkward thing as well. It's like, what the hell? Like, you should at least do that as a standard. And it's not like they don't. They probably have it already ready by the time. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I know.
Stuff that don't get into the full game. And it's not, they can't use the excuse. Before, Extreme Legends used to be an expansion pack, when DLC didn't exist or they couldn't fit everything on the disc. But now you've proved it, Tecmo Koei, that you can fit it on the disc. Don't lie to us. Don't use that excuse. If I hear that, I'll be really, really upset because I know that's not what's actually going on. So that's what I want to see. I want to see more content. I want to see I want to see because I remember Dynasty Warriors 5 had a lot of stuff. It had story mode,
They
free mode.
did. Oh,
They
I
had
love Dynasty Warriors 5.
what else did they have? They had challenge mode,
Tons of costumes.
costumes as well. They had like 6 different costumes for characters, and that was in the game as
And they
standard.
were all different. They weren't just different colors.
Yeah.
They were just completely different designs, and that was so cool.
Yeah, that's the thing, and they brought costumes from previous games, from Dynasty Warriors 4, which I
Yes.
noticed as well, and
It was fun unlocking all of them.
exactly, and that's the thing that I kind of miss now. That the whole DLC costumes, the way you unlock them is you buy them. Like there is no really unlocking of costumes. That's been taken away, and I feel that there's a lot of stuff that's kind of been they've taken away that kind of made me want to play the game more. I used to play Dynasty Warriors because I wanted that costume or I wanted that weapon. I love Extreme Legends games.
Or even
because,
unlocking characters.
Yeah, that's another thing. That's the way. You kind of
like
have
those.
that.
They had. I believe in 5.
It was Lu Bu and
one
Zuo Chi.
Yeah, he was the secret character.
He was. That was the thing. You had to unlock all the characters
cool.
to get him, and I think you had to play on a certain difficulty. And I think doing stuff like that would be very interesting. Like for me, Zuo Chi really wasn't. I don't think he felt welcome in Dynasty Warriors 8. And the reason I say that is because it's like
he was very he just came out of nowhere in 8.
Yeah, and it was okay to do that in Dynasty Warriors 5 because he was branded as the secret character.
Yeah.
But in Dynasty Warriors 8, it's like, man, you just did this because people wanted him there, and that's fair enough. But at the same time, it's like,
he doesn't really have much of a story other than interrupting Wei's plans.
Yeah, Wei's plans
Honestly.
and being Liu Bei fangirl. That's what he is. You can't deny that. But that's another thing that kind of
and he's
disappoints
not
me.
part of Shu, so you can't stick him into Shu.
Exactly. And the thing is, I'm getting into the gripes about Dynasty Warriors game because I feel that they're needed to talk about. Like, another thing was the whole Lu Bu story. Like, come on, it's Lu Bu. There's not much story to him, and then they kind of add more characters into the other kingdom. And I'm not sure, are they going to give Lu Bu his own kingdom for the next game? Because it looks like they're preparing for that. And I don't want that.
That's what I was wondering.
I honestly don't want that because for me, Lu Bu was a character that, oh man, he's Lu Bu, he's overpowered. That's the only reason you want to play as him. And giving him, he has a story, yes, but at the same time, giving him the story and kind of ignoring Diao Chan. Like, I found that when they added
they added his daughter,
yeah, I was like, you just completely.
It was
ignored.
either you get the daughter or you get Diao Chan.
Exactly, and I'm like,
there was no middle ground.
There was no middle ground. And I wanted to see the relationship between the daughter and Diao Chan. I wanted to see.
I did too.
I wanted to see. Oh, was it like an awkward kind of stepmom thing, or do they hate each other, or what is their relationship? And I
think they were in one stage together, and they didn't even interact.
That's what's disappointing. It's like, you have these characters for a reason, Koei. Bring them
have
together.
Them interact.
Yeah, make them interact with each other, and I think that's what made Warriors Orochi more successful, because you had characters from different games
and they were all interacting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played a little bit of Warriors Orochi 3. And that I really liked the fact that that you had 3 people in your team at a time, and they were all interacting in the cutscenes. It was great.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I'm not sure for Dynasty Warriors 9 if they're going to do that multiple character system, or if they're going to stick with multiple weapons, because it was sloppy in Dynasty Warriors 8, and I'm calling you out right now, Omega Force, because it was a sloppy system, because it was like, oh, you had Heaven, you had Earth, you had Man, those 3 weapon systems, and then when you got your ultimate weapon, like the highest weapon you can get, it was always a Heaven weapon. And it was like, so that means I can't use 2 overpowered weapons? What?
Exactly.
And it was like, if you wanted to play on higher difficulties, it really wasn't going to help you at all. And I'm not sure if they fixed that in Extreme Legends. I hope they did. If they didn't, I'm really angry. But it's things like that. It's these small things. I mean,
they're trying. They're trying new things, which is good.
They're trying new things, but I feel that they're not really experimenting like they used to. And they're focusing on Samurai Warriors, which is a popular game, but I feel that why can't you just why can't you just experiment on both games? Like, I want to see this new system, like a Samurai Warriors style system, when you have effectively double move sets. That would be kind of cool. Or having like 2 characters on the screen. Because the way Samurai Warriors 4 does it is that it's kind of like Warriors Orochi. You can switch between the 2 characters, but they're both on the screen at the same time. So one of them will act as an NPC when you're not using them, and you can tell them where to go. Kind of like Empires. You know how Empires you can tell go here or go there.
Yeah, that's cool.
And you can switch between them, and the game gives you an objective. You hear that, you hear that sound, and you're like, oh, this means I have to do something for an objective. And Dynasty Warriors doesn't necessarily make it as blatantly obvious, because, you know, they're not going to, and they want to focus on the story, but Samurai Warriors does it in a fun way, and it's like, oh man, I have this objective to do, and it's very difficult to do it with 2 characters.
Well, if Samurai Warriors 4, that came out after Dynasty Warriors, right?
Yeah, it came out, I think it was
Dynasty Warriors 8.
Samurai Warriors 4, yeah. I'm not sure.
If that came out after Dynasty Warriors 8, and it turned out okay, I'm sure they'll incorporate something like that into Dynasty Warriors 9.
I hope so. But at the same time, it depends, because a lot of people, like me, I was the kind of person that was like, oh man, this is just a fucking spin-off game, I'm not going to play it. And I didn't, until I wouldn't say forced, but I was like, oh, man, you know what, I'm not going to be playing Dynasty Warriors, but I need to play a Warriors game. And recently I've been playing a lot more Warriors games. I've been playing Gundam, and I'm not a fan of Gundam, but I've been playing the Gundam game, and it's very interesting, and I've been playing One Piece. I don't even watch One Piece, but I've been playing that Warriors game so I can see how Omega Force is doing things across other things, across other franchises, and even the whole Zelda thing. That's kind of cool. You know, I'm not even a Nintendo fan, and I'm like, I want to buy a Wii U for this game. So things like that. I just want to see how they can learn from different games and kind of implement that. You know.
I mean, obviously they are learning, because with each new game they come out, there's something new about it.
Yeah, and but they're not really experimenting. It's just like, yeah, this is what we learned, and this worked from another game. I want to see...
But look at when they tried to experiment. Look at what happened when they tried Dynasty Warriors 6.
But
they went a little too much.
True, that was a little too much, but at the same time,
I'm sure they're like, okay, last time we tried to experiment too much, it was a horrible, horrible disaster. So I'm sure they're just trying to, you know, slowly put in new things, trying out what's good.
I understand why Tecmo is doing that, is because that is their main source of income. Like, you know, this might be inaccurate when I say this, but Dynasty Warriors is a very popular game in Japan. It's always on, like, the PlayStation Store. Like, you know, you have brand deals with Pepsi and 7-Up and all of that kind of crazy bullshit, which is amazing. But it's like, it's kind of like Call of Duty, you know, Call of Duty that has brand deals with Doritos and Mountain Dew. You know, I'm comparing it because it's going to be the same. At one point in time, it's going to be the same, and that's what I want to prevent that. You know, I always see myself as, I know I'm going to be big-headed when I say this, but I see myself as Zhao Yun. Because I want to protect what I love, you know, I want to protect Dynasty Warriors. And I was like that with the TK family, you know, when the TK family existed. It still does, but, you know, it's not really the same as it used to be. You know, but I want to protect what I love. I want to protect Dynasty Warriors. It doesn't mean that I want to have it the same always. I want them to kind of experiment. And if that means they make another Dynasty Warriors 6 mistake, that's fine by me.
Because they tried?
Because at least I can appreciate, and I'm like, okay, you tried that. That fucked up. Now, and then you make an amazing game that's like, yeah, we know we fucked up. Here's an amazing game for you. Or at least make me wait 2 years minimum for a new Dynasty Warriors game. Because I don't want to wait a year and get a new game, because then you know they're not going to add enough things, because there's always that pressure that, oh, we have to release this game now and we have to do this. And you know, when you have a year to make a game, well, they probably don't have a year, but when you have a year between games, it's like you have less time. You have less time to do things. Yeah. You have less time to innovate. So you're like, oh yeah, let's just slap on the new engine and do that. And
yeah,
give them new
I was
costumes.
A little shocked when they announced Dynasty Warriors 8, because it was it was literally right after they released Dynasty Warriors 7 Empires. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I remember seeing the teaser for it like months before they announced it, and I wasn't exactly sure what the video was for. And then they announced it, and the video came out again, and I was like, oh shit, that was Dynasty Warriors 8. And I was shocked, because it was so soon. So I'm hoping I know most likely they won't do this, but I'm hoping they'll take a little more time on Dynasty Warriors 9.
I think so as well. I think Tecmo Koei could do this in a way where, similar to Activision and how they do this with Call of Duty, like Call of Duty has more than one developer.
Really?
Yeah, they do. They have Infinity Ward, they have, I forgot the rest of the names. They have Infinity Ward, they have Treyarch, and they have a third developer now. Because, Call of Duty used to be 1 year, they would give it to one developer, another year, they'll give it to another developer. So it was a 2-year cycle. But now, they've introduced a third developer, so it's a 3-year cycle for a Call of Duty game, which is more time probably than what Dynasty Warriors gets, because they have Omega Force doing it all the time. And I think this is another reason why I think they gave Zelda Muso to Team Ninja, because Team Ninja worked with Omega Force to do Hyrule Warriors, and I think that's probably them. I think that's Tecmo Koei probably testing the waters. Maybe they're going to do this, maybe they're not, and I hope they do, because Zelda Muso was a great game. Yeah, I played it a bit, but I don't obviously own a Nintendo console, but it's a great game. It's a fun game to play, but I want Dynasty Warriors to be kind of not like that, but I want them to have more than one developer involved, and maybe have a 2-year development cycle, and have it so that, okay, this year Team Ninja are going to do it, or this year Omega Force are going to do it. Because Team Ninja, it's not like Team Ninja don't have experience in hack and slash games. They make Ninja Gaiden, so they know what they're doing, in a sense. Obviously, they have the experience now from Zelda Muso. I'm getting confused now because I'm saying Hyrule Warriors and then I'm saying Zelda Muso, so I'm jumping in between, and there's going to be a moment where I say Zelda Warriors, which just sounds awkward. But it's going to get to that point. I feel that they're going to need to have more than one development team for Dynasty Warriors and have an extended development cycle, and then that way they can have a game every year and then still have 2 years of development, or they can make us wait 2 years. There's going to be people that are going to complain about it, but at the same time you're going to have other games coming out,
but people are always going to be upset about something.
That's true, people are always going to be upset, but at the same time you always have games coming out made by Omega Force, like Dynasty Warriors 8, and then you had Samurai Warriors 4. If there was like, okay, 1 year we're going to do a Samurai Warriors game, 1 year we're going to do a Dynasty Warriors game, I think that would be a very interesting concept. It will piss off a lot of people, of course, we can't avoid it, but at the same time that increases the development time for Dynasty Warriors, because then you're going to get 2-year development cycle,
which would be great, because that means they have more time to experiment.
Yeah, and then they have more time to experiment, and actual fans,
and to add more things, definitely.
Yeah. And as fans of the Warriors series, you're still getting your Warriors fix from Samurai Warriors or from another game, It doesn't necessarily need to be Dynasty Warriors. And I think people that are listening, try Samurai Warriors. I know people are going to be shooting me with arrows or something, but it's an interesting game. And even if you're not even if you play Dynasty Warriors specifically for the Chinese history, and you're like, oh man, I'm only going to play Dynasty Warriors because I'm only interested. If you're one of those people, fair enough. But at the same time, it's not really an accurate game. So why not try?
It's really not.
Why not?
I know a lot of people get angry about it because it's not accurate. And honestly, I don't see the point in getting angry that the game isn't accurate. True. Because it's a game. They're not gonna make it historically accurate because it has fantasy qualities.
It does.
And it needs to cater to a larger audience.
And not only that, it's the fact that the book itself, that the game was based off, Romance of the Three Kingdoms, that's not accurate at all. There's a lot of fake characters in the book. I don't think Guan Yingping was supposed to exist, or even I think Guan Jing was the only Guan son that's in Dynasty Warriors that is actually supposed to exist. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Guan Suo isn't a real son, but he's in the book. He's in a book.
He is. He's mentioned in. I think he's actually mentioned in Romance of Three Kingdoms. I'm not quite sure. Even Diao Chan, it's not really real, or other things like that. There's a lot of characters that don't necessarily exist, or their stories are over exaggerated.
Yeah, like Jing Sai.
Yeah, Jing Sai. Who else doesn't? There's a lot actually.
A lot of them.
There's like the Battle of Changban. Where the whole Zhao Yun trying to find his...
Yeah.
that story is very. Like, if I was reading a book, it was like Zhuge Liang's. It's not like his autobiography, but it was a book about Zhuge Liang from his perspective, and he goes into detail about what actually happened, and it was, to me, I was reading that and I was crying. I was like, what the hell's going on? Liu Bei's there was a carriage. You know, in previous Dynasty Warriors games, I've actually mentioned this before. I believe it was Dynasty Warriors 5 or Dynasty Warriors 4. Guan Yu, I think, or someone is in charge of protecting this carriage with Liu Bei's wife and his daughters. Yeah. In the book, it mentions that they were stolen. Well, obviously, they were kidnapped. And they were sold to Cao Cao's officers as wives. And it's like, they wouldn't, if you want an accurate game, they're not going to put that in Dynasty Warriors, I tell you from now, because that is just really depressing. I think you can't really get to that point, and obviously there's a lot of issues to kind of overcome with putting stuff like that in these games. Because the real history is really bloody, and it's really gory and stuff. And this, I don't know what rating it gets in America, but I know here it's a 16.
I think it's over here
it's
rated
teen.
T.
Yeah, teen.
Hold on, I have it in front of me.
Teen is like for ages 12 and above, isn't it?
Yeah, it's rated teen.
Because I remember over in the UK, Dynasty Warriors used to be rated 7 for age 7, and then age 7. That's why I used to play it. And then after a while, it was rated 12, and then up to Dynasty Warriors 7. It got rated 16, which is, I believe that's the rating in America for mature.
Oh, is that why in some of the trailers it's Peggy 16 or something?
They say Peggy 16 or Peggy 7. There's stuff like that. They have to say that because it's not mature. Because obviously, I'm not sure your mature rating in America is probably 17 plus, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, it might be 18.
Maybe 18.
It doesn't matter to me because I am over that age.
Don't reveal your age, Swan.
I'm not.
A lady doesn't say
anything.
Yeah, but that's...
Oh, please.
Sorry, Swan. Yeah. But
listen, you and I are both old, so it doesn't matter.
Guys, if you're listening to me, I'm not old.
He's old.
Swan feels old, so old. She's making me feel old as well.
No,
she doesn't want to be old.
You're like almost the same age as me, so
20.
we're both old.
I'm 20, Swan.
That's great. And I'm 22.
Yeah, but that's not old. Jeez.
You called me old.
I didn't say you were old.
Earlier.
Oh, yeah, I did actually, like 5 seconds ago. And even before this recording. But...
Exactly.
But let me get back onto my point, if I may. The whole 18 thing, I think the reason that games get rating of 16 in the UK was that the Dynasty Warriors games haven't really changed, other than the fact that it became more sexualized. So they had to give it a 16 rating. You know, with people like Lian Shi and Wang Yuanji mainly, I can understand why they did that. Even male characters like Ganing, to this day, I don't think he has nipples. He used to. Ganing, bring back Ganing's nipples. He used to have nipples in Dynasty Warriors 4.
He did.
And now it's been like smoothed over.
They got rid of it.
The thing is, even like G.I. Joes and Action Mans, they have nipples. And they're action figures. They have nipples and they're action figures. I don't know why they don't have nipples. But anyway, that's something that is annoying for me, and I can understand they do the ratings like that, because if they made Dynasty Warriors realistic and they put blood into Dynasty Warriors, not many people would play the game. Because it would be rated 18. It probably wouldn't be sold in Japan, because they're very strict with their ratings. It probably wouldn't be sold in countries like Germany or anything like that. So the reason the game is like this, and the reason it's like, I would say, cartoon violence, because that's how they list it over here, is because if you tell someone, oh, Dynasty Warriors is a game about killing thousands upon thousands of people, and you don't give them any other backstory, it would freak them out. Especially if you showed them gameplay and there was blood. That's, I think, why Warriors Legends of Troy really didn't do well. Because, you know, I think it was the first Warriors game with blood in it, and they stopped doing that after a while. Yeah. So, Swan, what do you want to see specifically from like a Dynasty Warriors 9? Like, do you want to see new characters and stuff? Like, which new character would you like to see out of all the characters that has not been in the Dynasty Warriors game before?
I'll be completely honest. I was actually asked this on the blog like a while back. And to be honest, I don't have a specific character that I want to be in the game. I just want more Wu characters for when it's just Jin and Shu. Because right now it's just Leon Sher and I forgot the other one, Ding Fong right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like we keep seeing them, and it's them and the generics. I want to see actual characters who are alive at the time when it's Jin and Shu.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just kind of annoying killing generics who look exactly like the other ones.
All right, fair enough. For me, there was a character in Shu that I remember on the popularity when Chin he like made a poll, like a popularity poll, and he was like, "Which character do you want to see?" And a lot of people were like, "Yeah, Juran." And then there was this character from Shu, I forgot his name, but he was there since the Yellow Turban Rebellion all the way until the fall of Shu. I want to see him, and I want to see how he kind of experiences that. You know, with characters like Zhao Yun and all of that kind of stuff. I think that would be interesting. But I was kind of disappointed with Juran. I was like, this isn't Juran. He looks kind of young. He doesn't look like how... Because I imagine like... Oh, no, wait. Juran and... Who's that guy that was a generic? And he was like, what's his name's bodyguard in the old games? He was Zhou Yu's bodyguard. I forgot his name. He's in the game now. He's that guy with that weird pike thing. The hand pike.
The what?
The hand pike. The
Handang?
Handang. Yes, Handang. The
Oh, that's so sad. He's forgotten in the games too.
No, he's in the game.
Fish?
He is in the game.
No, as in the game, he tries to get people to notice him.
Oh, yeah, no, that's true. And I think that was smart because he was always forgotten even when he was an NPC.
You forgot him.
I forgot him, but he's a kind of badass character and I liked his character design, but then that's how they could have done Juran. They should have gave Juran the same kind of thing because in the previous game Juran used to be this NPC character and he always had this mustache. And Juran looks so baby-faced and I'm like, what the hell?
I mean, you have to cater to the people who want young-looking guys in Wu. I mean,
it's true.
They're the most good-looking.
At the same, no, Wu characters are not the most good-looking.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I'm very
They
sure
all
about
look
that.
so adorable.
I would tell you who it's Shu, not Wu, Shu. Because bear in mind, you got Ma Chao. Yeah, really, really good-looking.
Okay, but they're more like mature hot. Wu is like high school, college hot. You get me?
I understand, but at the same time, I'm like, there are some other characters like that. Ma Chao used to be like that. Remember Ma Chao when he was introduced in Dynasty Warriors 4? He was like, oh yeah, Ma Chao. And the thing is, they kind of diluted a lot of characters, which for me is not the best. I want to see more like, yeah, I'm this character. And if you're going to introduce a character, Koei, give them a proper storyline. Not like Guan Yingping that has one battle. Because I want to know more about her. I want to know more about Guan Yu's children. I want to know about Zhang Bao a lot more. Like, you know, he was just in the Nanman battles and that was it. I was like, what?
And then he died.
Yeah, and then he died.
So sad.
And the thing is, why would you give them, like, especially the Guan Jing and I think Zhang Bao have Musos where they use their father's weapons?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's interesting.
And their outfits are very similar to their father's outfits.
Indeed. And I feel that if you're going to do that, at least show that relationship. At least show the relationship between them. Like, I haven't seen a battle where Zhang Fei and Zhang Bao actually talk a lot. It's just like, hey.
Oh, yeah.
You're my son. Hey, you're my dad. Yeah. No. I want to see that relationship.
Sometimes they do it for, like, the daughters. Like, Zhang Fei and Jing Sai.
They do, because Jing Sai has been there for a longer time, and I feel that she's more developed as a character. I remember when she was first introduced into Dynasty Warriors 5, she was really this, like, super cute character, and her voice has changed a lot.
It didn't match her. The voice did not match her personality, definitely.
True, I agree with that, and I like.
But in 5, they were great about building her relationships with the other characters. Like, she had a relationship with Guan Ping. She had a few scenes where she talked to her dad. and she even had a relationship with Zhao Yun.
Yeah.
So those were cool.
That was cool. And another thing is that where the hell is Guan Ping is like irrelevant in Dynasty Warriors 8. I've noticed this. I remember in Dynasty Warriors 7 it was Jing Sai and Guan Ping in the training mode. That was great, and they still have this kind of relationship, and then Liu Shan.
But it's just in training mode. In Dynasty Warriors 7, he's in that one stage, and then he dies. True. And then it's all about Guan Suo.
It's true, but at the same time, you had to have that happen because Liu Shan and Jing Sai and all that, and he had to.
No, this is not about shipping.
Oh, another thing is ships. Ship is. I think they've noticed, they've realized that shipping is very important in Dynasty Warriors and obviously within the community. I see people ship characters that I don't think should be shipped. My main one being Cao Cao and Shahudun, only because they're related. That's another thing. It's like they're cousins, dude. That's messed up. And another one is Cao Cao and I've seen the ship on Tumblr a lot. Cao Cao and Cao Pi's wife. Shit. I forgot her name.
I've seen them.
I've seen it, and then it gets to a point where it's like Rule 34 stuff, and I'm like, no.
Well, people can ship what they want. I'm sure when they're shipping Cao Cao and Xiaodun, it's mostly because of how close they are.
True, but then I've seen people ship Cao Cao and Cao Pi, and I'm like, what the fuck? You can't do that. Like,
they can do whatever they want.
No, I think is when, for me, rules of shipping applies. Like, I'm okay with, if you want to ship like Liu Bei and Guan Yu and Chang Fei and make them have a gangbang, I'm fine with that. Like, I have nothing against that. But I have it when they're related, when characters are related and it's like an incestual relationship. I'm like, you can't, please, no, don't do that. Like, if I've seen like ships with Sun Quan and his sister, and I'm like, no, you can't do that. For me, it hurts my heart because it's just like, dude, that's messed up. And people are listening, and you can do what you want, but at the same time, it's like, I feel awkward.
Think of it this way: it's your opinion, and it's also their opinion. Everyone's entitled to one, as long as you don't put them down for having their opinion. It's all fine.
But at the same time, that stuff is illegal.
Fish, we're talking about
I know, but it's weird.
People.
No, now you're bringing in dead people. Now it's like
dead people who some of them didn't even exist.
True, that's another thing. But at the same time, it's like I'm fine if someone shipped Liu Bei with like, Diao Chan. I will contest that ship because I'm like, that doesn't make sense. But fair enough. But then
wasn't that in Romance of the Three Kingdoms, like the game?
No, it was in Kessan.
Or it was in that's
Kessan,
it.
but Kessan was like a fucked up game to begin with. I remember Kessan. They had Wei An without a mask, and it was really weird. And it was like, Yu Ying was really awkward in that game. She was like really happy-go-lucky, and she was like, and she would always make references to her boobs in the game. And I was like, this game is rated like 12. I'm like, I was confused, but it was I love Kessan. That's another thing they should bring back. They're not going to, but yeah. I just have a problem with incestual shipping. If you want to do that, fair enough. But at the same time, it's like it makes me feel awkward, especially when people do that.
I mean, I'm okay of whatever ships people are into, as long as you don't put it down and say, oh, you're not allowed to ship that, or this ship is horrible. That's just sad. Like, let people have their own opinions. Same with liking characters. I know people have strong opinions about certain female characters. But don't bash them.
Give me an example. I want to know. I want to get straight down to this. Which
like
female characters?
Gao Sanyang and Liang Shi, they usually get hate. And people have their own opinions. You don't have to like a character, but don't put down other people for liking them. That's just wrong.
Fair enough. I understand, Swan. You mentioned Bao Sanyang, and this brings me on to a point about over-sexualization within the game. And it's evident within her, specifically. Because you know what I'm talking about. I just feel awkward to say it, but it's just like, in Dynasty Warriors 7, her bust dramatically changed from Dynasty Warriors 7 to Dynasty Warriors 8, and it was just like, what? Like, it's something I never noticed, and then it's like very obvious, and it's like, for me, a character with bigger boobs doesn't necessarily make it a better character. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I know there's fan servicey elements, but I'm like, you don't need to fan service everyone. Maybe she was a popular character, fair enough, but I'm like, you don't need that. It's like, you know,
they don't need it.
I think there's like too much fan service within.
But for some fans, it is a draw.
It is, but the way I see it is that.
Although I do prefer, actual armor for the ladies, not just cloth over their boobs.
That's true, but at the same time, it's, as you mentioned, it is a big thing in this game. And I think that's another thing that kind of changed the ratings. I mentioned that before, but character like and certain characters shouldn't actually be fighting in this game. That's another thing. Certain characters historically have never actually gone to war. But certain characters I don't think will get armor. I think Leanne sure should be a character that should have more armor, because she's always that, in terms of her personality, she's very like strong, and I don't want to say tsundere, but she's very like, how do you say it, like she's always there for Sun Quan, or I'm saying Sun Chuan. She's always there for him and whatnot, and she's kind of like that motherly figure. She's like the mother of Wu. That's how I imagine her, and I think that's kind of awesome. And like characters like Jing Sai as well. I've always imagined her to have quite a lot of armor, and it's kind of weird. Like a lot of men characters. What an idiot, Bish. A lot of male characters have a lot of armor. Like Shahoba.
Yes.
Shahoba. He has a lot of armor. And it's like, he's such a short guy. How the hell can he drag? And he looks like he's getting a hernia at some point.
He's cute. I like him.
He's a cute character, but it's like he has to carry, like in the first game, he had to carry like a sword, massive sword, and he always looked really uncomfortable carrying it. And then in the other game, he had to carry like a rocket launcher, and I'm like, what the hell? And that's another thing. Dynasty Warriors is becoming more creative, yet very crazy with their weapons, and I like that. Like.
It's cool. I really enjoy it. I know a lot of people are angry because they're not historically accurate or something, but it's so cool. Like
but the thing
it's not an accurate game, so put in some super cool weapons.
Exactly, and the thing is that if it was historically accurate, a lot of characters will be fighting with swords and spears. That would be it. And it's kind of fun to have like really dumb weapons. Like sometimes like that rocket launcher thing is hilarious, or Guo Hai's machine gun, like stuff like that. I love that, and I just love playing as that. And obviously
it's fantastic.
And obviously you get like really dumb weapons like the shish kebab thing. I'm like, what the hell? You really?
Or Liu Shan's bench.
Oh my! What is that about? I finally got used to him using that sword. Well, no, he
I think it goes well with his character, though.
And Guanshuo's shoes, that makes sense because of the Musos, but at the same time, it's like, shoes? Oh, the thing is, why the hell? They gave Guanshuo nunchucks in Dynasty Warriors 8. And then in Extreme Legends, they gave him shoes. And Ling Tong still has that weird Dynasty Warriors 6 weapon that he had, which is kind of badass.
Yeah.
But then who the hell's going to use the nunchucks?
We'll see in Dynasty Warriors 9.
That's the thing. There's probably going to be an announcement at TGS, but I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not, because it's like this whole point of this episode is for us to kind of discuss what we want to see and what stuff is probably not going to happen. But a part of me wants me to see new characters, and I want to see like, oh man, I want to see this character. I want to see that character. I want to see. Who's the other guy? Not Cheng Gong, because he's a new character. There's this character that was really interesting. I forgot his name now. I want to see characters from the Yellow Turbans. I want to see Hei Jin, whatever his name is. I want to see Zhang Bao from the Yellow Turban Rebellion.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see that guy that's not actually Chinese, but he's in the game. He was in Dong Zhua's army. I forgot his name. Ah, he's not actually Chinese. He's like
It's
West.
okay, Bish. You're forgiven. There are way too many characters to
There's way too many
remember.
characters, and he's an NPC, but he always you notice him in the game because he's a very unique NPC because he's actually an NPC that wears a mask.
Yes, yes, I know who you're talking about, but the name I don't remember either.
I want to know his name, but that's the thing. I remember reading about him. He's not actually Chinese. He's like something else, and I want to see how is that brought in. I want to see his story. I want to see, is he from the West? Is he from like Mongolia? Is he from any other part in Asia? I want to see how he's kind of implemented in the game.
I mean, that'd be really cool having the other factions having like their own stories. That'd be cool.
I think
if they had more time, I'm sure they could put it in.
Yeah, I want to see that. Like, I don't necessarily want to see a Dongjua army faction, but I just want to see like other characters because there's not really much about their story because they did that in Dynasty Warriors 5 and they only had like 2 battles in that when you played at Dongjua or something, and they would always be overlapping battles as well. They wouldn't be necessarily unique battles. But I want to see a character like that, and a lot of these characters, especially from the Yellow Turban, which I think they should do, is that characters from the Yellow Turbans go and join Cao Cao. They go and join Liu Bei. So, do you know what I mean? There's a lot of characters from that Yellow Turban Rebellion that you can actually have them legit kind of continue their story on, which I think is the best thing to do. And I think, Koei, if you're listening, somehow you've translated this. If you're listening, please bring in some Yellow Turban Rebellion characters, possibly like some really interesting ones, and have some really silly like Extreme Legend mode stuff. Like I remember in Dynasty Warriors 4 there was a battle that was after the Yellow Turban Rebellion. You had to kill a certain person in a certain amount of time and you unlock it, and it was like a side mission, kind of like how Dynasty Warriors 8 had the side story with the alternate timeline and stuff. But this one was like, oh, you're playing as Liu Bei's army and you're playing as Liu Bei, and then they kind of use this kind of mystical magic thing, and your whole army is against you, and you're just one person. You have your bodyguard or the other person that you're playing with, and everyone else is against you, and you have to kill them. That was interesting. And it was like even the people and in that situation, Liu Bei is like, these are my people, I don't want to kill them. And he has this kind of internal monologue that's very interesting. And if you ever get the chance to play Dynasty Warriors 4, you should actually play it because it's a very interesting game. Another thing that I think...
Are you talking to me?
I'm talking to everyone, but I know you haven't played Dynasty Warriors 4, so you should play it.
I have! Oh my god.
You said you haven't.
But then I played it.
But have you played that?
I took your advice,
you took my advice? Oh, wow.
I did.
Swan finally
took my advice. I'm not going to go to you and be like, oh my god, Bish, I played Dynasty Warriors 4. I have a life,
Wow. That hurts me inside, Swan. But yeah, it's like, another thing that I think may happen, but at the same time I can explain why it won't happen, is that if they do a HD remake. Because, they already have the games on the PSN store. I'm not sure if they have it in America, but I know they have...
I mean, it'd be cool if they did an HD remake.
Yeah, because I remember Dynasty Warriors Dynasty Warriors 7 hinted towards that when they done remake battles. And it was like, oh, this battle is exactly the same. This is Dynasty... It felt like Dynasty Warriors 2. The map layout was the same, but just in new graphics and stuff. But at the same time, but what I mean by HD remake is not like Final Fantasy 7 HD remake. I mean, like... shitty graphics, but I just want to play it on my PlayStation 4 in one disc. That's it. That's what I mean. I just want the same game, just with trophies and
being able to play on the new consoles.
Yeah, that's what I mean by that. I still want the same shitty experience, shitty graphics. I want that. Shitty voice acting. I want all of that. So obviously they've already started doing that.
You want cow.
Yeah, I want cow and cow. I want all that cowpea. I want cowpea, cow. I want like Sun Tse. I want Sun Quan. I want all of that. I'm not just gonna stop at cowpea. I want like what do they call him? Sima. No, they called him Sima Yi. I want Sima Yi back. I want stupid names like that. That's what I want. And they've been doing that on the PlayStation Store. You can buy Dynasty Warriors 4 and Dynasty Warriors 5, and obviously the Extreme Legends and the Empires games for those. You can buy them. But you can't buy Dynasty Warriors 3 and you can't buy Dynasty Warriors 2.
Yeah.
And the main reason
they're a little too old.
It's not because they're too old. I think Tecmo Koei would have done that because in Japan, guess what? You can download them on the PlayStation Store. All of the games. Because when they were brought overseas, they were not developed. They were published by a company called THQ. And THQ doesn't exist anymore. So it begs to differ who owns the publishing rights. Did it go back to Koei Tecmo? Because if it did, then they would obviously put it back up on the PlayStation Store. The thing is, I know that a company called Midas Interactive had the rights to Dynasty Warriors 2 for publishing because they did that. And that game is that company, if you look on their website now, you see the stuff they did. They only publish PS2 games to this day, which is really weird. And they don't sell the games anymore. So that way they can still make money by owning the license. And the thing is, probably the license is not going to cost a lot, I think, at this time, especially a company like Midas, which is going down. Like it's probably going to be bankrupt soon. And when THQ became bankrupt, people bought out the licenses for Saints Row and all of that, and they got them dirt cheap. And sometimes I'm like, you know what? They published Dynasty Warriors 3 and they published Dynasty Warriors 2. What if I bought the license? I think if I go back in time and I buy the license... Sometimes, the thing is, if I bought the license to that, I don't know how expensive they would be. Maybe they might be. But if I had the money and I bought the license, I would just give it back to Tecmo Koei. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not going to make money off it. Like, I just want it to happen. I'll give them back the license on the agreement that I get the game. That's it. That they make the game available to people. But that's the thing. When these companies become bankrupt, they own the licenses, not Koei Tecmo. So for me, that explains why they can't do that necessarily. But it would be nice. I think, giving people the opportunity to buy Dynasty Warriors 2 and actually experience, this is the first game, and this is kind of cool. Like, for me, I wouldn't have that problem of going through 3 discs because it would be digital. I'll probably break my PlayStation, but
God.
I always mention that every time I talk about Dynasty Warriors. I have to mention it, and it's it's an hour 40 minutes in. I had to mention it there, and yeah, I think that's a good time to wrap up. So
yeah, because I gotta play my Love Live.
Whoa. It's not just about you and your love. No, I'm not joking.
We talked about this yesterday. I have to play my Love Live.
Love Live. I like Love Live. Like, obviously, we mentioned this before. Nico ni best girl.
No.
Umi is not best girl though. Come on. You have to remember. Just accept Nico as your Lord and Savior.
No.
She died for your sins.
Take that back. No.
Swan, come on.
No.
Swan.
I am not taking orders from someone younger than me.
This is not orders. I'm just saying, please. Come on.
No.
Please.
No.
Swan, please.
No.
Please. I'm saying please.
It doesn't matter to me.
Swan.
What?
I see how it is. Swan. That's fine. It's fine. I accept your opinions. You've mentioned it in this episode, so
good.
By that logic, you should accept my opinions, and that
I never said that your opinions are horrible. I just said I don't accept her as best girl because I have my own best girl.
Fair enough. Anyway, let's wrap up this episode. So, guys, remember that this has been the Get Life Podcast. You can go check us out on iTunes. Just type in Get Life Podcast. Or you can check us out on Stitcher Internet Radio. Yes, we have upgraded to Stitcher Internet Radio.
Woo!
Which means if you have an Android device, if you have a Windows device, I don't know who uses a Windows phone, but if you do, if you're one of those people, you can check it out there. It's free and without any ads. Same with on iTunes. Another thing is, if you like anime, we have an anime podcast. Whoa! It's called Get Life Podcast Kunai. We focus on anime. We don't actually focus on manga. And what we do is we watch a whole series of anime that you suggest Sometimes if you don't suggest anything, we will suggest them to each other.
Samurai Champloo.
I'll add that to the list. So I'm watching it personally, but
I asked you to watch that like months ago.
I've watched it.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched it, Swan. I haven't finished it yet, but I think I've got up to episode 20 or something like that. Anyway, so if you want to make your suggestions, guys, just tell us on the Twitter page. We have a new Twitter page for that. That's at GLAP Kunai, one word. Tell us what you want to see, what you want us to review. And obviously there will be spoilers. We always talk about spoilers. We've had 2 free episodes. We've talked about season 1 and season 2. So if you want to know about my opinions on Nagisa, I'll put the description down below. I'll put it in the description. Anyway, so if you want to go talk to me on Twitter about gaming or Dynasty Warriors or whatever, you can obviously check me there at Get Alive Podcast. We obviously do updates there as well. You can also check Swan out on the Dynasty Warriors blog. Swan, give the URL, if you please.
Dynasty-warriors.tumblr.com, and Sarah and I are always checking. If we don't reply, it's just because we are busy playing Love Live.
Yeah, busy getting that Umi thing. What's it for? Is it for Umi, or is it for who's it for specifically?
Yeah, it's her event for the Japanese game at least.
You have the Japanese version.
Yeah.
I see. So you didn't download the English version.
I downloaded both.
Oh, you downloaded. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Pro here. I don't download the Japanese version except for a game called Girlfriend Beta. Yeah.
Bish.
What?
Should I be concerned?
It's a good game. Do you know what it's about? There's an anime about it. It's a similar game to Love Live in terms of you collect cards and you feed cards to other characters and make them rare cards and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, you just go to school and you talk to girls. That sounds so creepy the way I'm explaining it.
Yeah.
But
do you hear yourself?
I am hearing myself, but you go to school, you talk to girls, and then you kind of battle girls against each other. And you're like, you use their points and whatever. Like, each card, it's kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh! In a sense. Like, each card has its, like, defense points and attack
You're
points.
calling girls Yu-Gi-Oh! now?
No, I'm talking about this game, Girlfriend Beta. It's a very interesting game. You can play it on Chrome, Google Chrome. And you can obviously play it on a Japanese iTunes store and obviously Japanese Android, Google Play Market, whatever. It's an interesting game. Don't make fun of it, all right? It has an anime adaptation. Anime is all right. Game's amazing. I like games like that. I like card games like that. It's kind of fun, especially Love Live as well, because it has that kind of rhythm element. And I love rhythm games, like Hatsune Miku game. They do
You told me once, when you first played, it's a rhythm game. I'm not very good at them.
I'm not very good at them. And then I got into it, and I was like, yes.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I do not regret actually downloading the Love Live game. And now I actually want to import the game for the PlayStation Vita, because they have a rhythm game, and I'm like, I need it. I need it in my life right now. I need more Love Live. There was this parody I saw, a Love Live parody, where it was like, shit, I forgot what it was. And it was like, they were doing an English dub, and it was so fucking hilarious. Because Honoka was like, rain, go away, if Nico is a basic bitch. And I was pissing myself laughing. Like, when characters insult other characters, I find it's funny. Especially when they insult Nico, like, Nico Ni for me is the best girl, but I understand not everyone agrees with me. So, Anyway, hope you guys have enjoyed this episode of the Get Live Podcast.
Woo! Cool.